As you can see, this is why the right in America, and especially Trump supporters, are so against the free press. They may say they love freedom and they love speaking the truth, but that's why they do the whole fake news thing. They're against free press. They try to expand libel laws to make it so that these politicians can sue journalists. All right, so the far right here in America, where I live, where politics actually matters, has been losing its mind more and more as time goes by. And I think there's no better example of this than the COVID pandemic and the vaccines, because anti-vaxxers have been a thing for a while. And they were always sort of very much like flat earthers. They were like a laughing stock, right? And they still are, but they weren't really seen as a serious threat. It was like, haha, you make jokes about how anti-vax parents are killing their kids and yada, yada, yada. And it was a problem, but it was seen as more of a thing just to laugh at. But now we're in a pandemic, and now people need to be getting vaccinated as much as possible, and the anti-vaxxers have become a bit more of a problem, and they become more outspoken, and more people are becoming aware of their stupidity. But at the same time, platforms like Facebook and Twitter and YouTube even have become breeding grounds for misinformation around vaccines. And more people, much like with the far right and Nazism, are being indoctrinated into this anti-vax conspiracy theory ideology. And so I thought we would take a look at this video by AJ Plus. Stop this vaccine shit. Inside one of the most anti-vax states in the US are anti-vaxxers winning. So let's go ahead and take a look at the video. I think we could learn some cool stuff about it, huh? What do you guys think? Let's have fun.
The COVID vaccine is finally here, and efforts are being made to roll it out across the country.
I did it! I'm so happy.
For millions, it's a path to getting their lives back, especially for the elderly tucked away in nursing homes.
It's like life's little hurdles, Until I get the shot, I'm staying in this room.
But what does the rollout look like in one of the most anti-vax places in the country? AJ Plus obtained exclusive footage of a lawmaker speaking with anti-vax supporters against the COVID vaccine.
And I have to have energy to stop this vaccine shit that's coming.
For those trying to fight back, it's been an uphill battle.
Just absolutely crushed anybody's dreams of speaking to power in this building.
We're in Ohio to find out how much influence anti-vaxxers are exerting on state
Really,
policy,
Ohio?
and what happens when they forge alliances with the people in power.
So the interview's over.
Does Health Freedom Ohio represent the beliefs of the majority of Americans?
It's the second day of vaccinations in Ohio, where COVID has become the third leading cause of death.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Frontline healthcare workers like Virginia Castle expressed hope that the end of the pandemic and the
Do you think maybe it's not a coincidence that the most anti-vax state in the US, Ohio, is now like the top 3 cause of death in Ohio is COVID now? And it's the most anti-vax state there is. Do you think maybe there's a connection there that's worth consideration?
The U.S. is on the horizon.
It was my goal to survive this beast, to get to this point. And now my next goal is to be able to take the masks off and hug my family.
For some Americans, though, respite from the virus is still months away, and a dangerous battle over who's willing to take the vaccine is playing out. Consider this: more than half of Ohio's nursing home staff have refused it, according to the governor.
Hello,
Hey, Bruce, it's Angie. How's it going?
Angie.
Bruce McGillis lives in a nursing home just outside Cleveland in Northeast Ohio. No visitors have been allowed inside.
Am I supposed to... Is that Keemstar? Hey, look, it's Keemstar. Am I supposed to feel, bad for these nurses at these fucking retirement homes that are refusing to take the COVID vaccine? These old people are the most susceptible to COVID. And their caretakers are refusing to take the vaccine because of the crazy, Trump supporter bullshit that they bought into. How am I supposed to feel bad for these people? There's a point where, yeah, they're victims of misinformation, but now they're also perpetuators of it. There's a point where you stop being a victim, and when you're doing the same thing as those that victimized you, you are now yourself a victimizer, okay? I have no sympathy for these people. Or no, I have empathy for these people. I feel bad they're victims of this misinformation, but there's a point where it's like, well,
108 patients have tested positive for COVID at the facility this past year. It's one reason Bruce won't leave his room for anything.
Wait, do you see that building? It looks like this place can hold 150 patients, and apparently 108 have gotten COVID. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it's more than 50% of the people at this place have gotten COVID. Also, hey, Keemstar, how you doing, buddy?
It's like life little hurdles, you know? Until I get the shot, I'm staying in this room. Until I get the second shot, because you got to get 2 shots, I'm staying in this room.
The virus has ravaged nursing
Yes.
homes, accounting for almost
This place looks
half
like it holds
of all
150
Ohio
patients.
deaths from COVID-19. It's something Bruce is acutely aware of.
Would you want to have to go to someone's funeral because you didn't take the shot? You have to look beyond yourself sometimes. You got to...
He is completely right. These anti-vax people, they're the most selfish people in the whole fucking country, okay? They're selfish pieces of shit, all right? The fact that they are, like, to the point where they are completely fine with, like, I feel bad for him, though. He's not an anti-vaxxer. I feel bad for him, too. He's in a terrible situation. He's in this fucking, nursing home where 60% of the nurses there refuse to take the vaccine. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if most of them are anti-maskers themselves, and I fucking hope that this nursing home requires them to wear masks around the patients or they lose their job. But I mean, it is Ohio, so I don't know.
to help the other people. You know what I'm saying?
A spokesperson for the nursing home couldn't tell us how many staff refused to take the vaccine. Ohio's anti-vaxxers have been preparing for this exact moment. They're an organized and strategic minority that's managed to build connections with lawmakers in the state. In April, the chair of the House Health Committee, Representative Scott Lips, had a call with members of Health Freedom Ohio, an anti-vax lobby group, where he said this.
So I need help with the members of the Health Committee because we're going to face a couple huge bills that are going to matter. You're going to face a couple bills that this group does not like, and I have to have energy to stop this vaccine shit that's coming.
During the call, he also bragged about working with the group's president, Michelle Cotterman, on legislation that would give workplace employees the right to say no to the flu vaccine.
So I hope you guys understand that, he is a representative who is willing to go to bat for us on this issue, and he's not afraid of taking on these, experts and medical professionals.
Dude, I really hope that, in 20 years, the right's new position is that people need to have the right to shit inside of, shit on the floor in restaurants and in the street. Because that's what's happening here, okay? So, what's happening here is you've got people who are arguing that it's their right to not get the vaccine. The problem is, the vaccine doesn't just affect you, okay? It's not just you getting the vaccine. You no longer being likely to get COVID and be able to spread it makes it so that other people are safer, especially those that have autoimmune issues that make it so they can't take vaccines because they don't have the immune systems intact, capable of taking down the virus. Because the way a lot of vaccines work is they usually put, I don't know if this is the thing with the COVID vaccine. I think it is for the Johnson & Johnson one, the one that I got. I got the Johnson & Johnson one because it was just one shot, and I just wanted to get the shot and get it over with, be vaccinated. Is that they put a dead or weaker form of the virus into you. Your immune system fights it off quite easily, and now your immune system knows what COVID looks like and knows how to respond to it the second it gets into your body through other means, like someone who with COVID coughs in your face. Now, once the COVID virus gets in your body, it knows wait. That's COVID. Because the way viruses work is actually pretty interesting. Viruses sneak into your system and they go undercover. Your immune system generally with viruses doesn't know that it's a virus, and it hijacks your blood cells and makes you it makes you replicate the virus cells. That's how viruses work. It gets in there before your body realizes it, and then just fucking uses your cells to duplicate the COVID virus because your cells don't know, this thing looks weird. Well, let's just keep on making more of this RNA, and they just keep on making it.
If you will, on behalf of what is right.
Someone was feeding me information, and I was using that information. So they weaponized me and educated me. It was fun, actually, to have the truth.
We went to the Ohio State House to ask him more about that April call.
Yes.
Well, you did have a call with anti-vaxxers where you said we need to stop this vaccine shit that's coming. What did you mean by that?
I meant that.
That's actually fucking amazing. His name is Scott Lips, and his mask has lips on it. That's actually okay. Maybe I'm becoming a little softer on these anti-vaxxers now. Okay, I like this guy. Actually, I don't. This guy's a subhuman piece of shit, dude. Look at this guy's tie. Okay, if I ever see a politician wearing a tie like this, if it's not Vermin Supreme, I immediately know they're a dumb fuck. Okay, what is this fucking tie? This is the aesthetic of a guy who does not take his job seriously. That's what's going on here. This guy does not take his job seriously at all.
And until we have the proper studies and understand what we're putting in our body, we've got to slow it down. I don't know that stop it, that's a strong term, and I did use that term, but I think slow it down is a better term. And it's funny, you picked up.
Hey, what's this remind you guys of? Does this right-wing anti-vax rhetoric remind you of anything familiar? We just don't have enough info on it. The data's not out. We need more studies. We need to slow things down. We don't know enough about it yet. What does this remind you of? Climate change? Reminds me of that. The gays? Yep, reminds me of that. But the first thing that came to mind was trans people. It reminds me of trans discourse. Good shit, Crafter Lula, you got it. It reminds me of trans discourse. They say the same shit. We don't know enough about it. We need more studies. We need to do more research. We need to slow down the amount of people that are becoming trans. It's the same shit. All these right-wing talking points, all of these far-right or even like middle-of-the-line Trump supporter right-wing talking points are all just as anti-science as flat earthers and anti-vaxxers, from the transphobia to the election shit, the big lie that Trump pushed with the election, to climate change. It is all the right being the anti-science political movement, okay? The right is definitively anti-science.
Got that one call, but what about the other 450 calls or Zooms I did this year? Do you want to talk about those too?
Well,
or do you want to talk about your personal agenda?
The story that we're reporting on is the vaccine.
So you're slanting the story to get what you want, so the interview is over.
Does Health Freedom Ohio represent the beliefs of the majority of Americans?
As you can see, this is why the right in America, and especially Trump supporters, are so against the free press. They may say they love freedom and they love speaking the truth, but that's why they do the whole fake news thing. They're against free press. They try to expand libel laws to make it so that these politicians can sue journalists. Like, if Trump supporters had their way, this guy would be able to sue this organization for putting out this story. And that's what they want to do. They want to suppress the press, because the press is what's supposed to hold the government in check. And the right, as much as they say they aren't, are in favor of big government. They want the government cracking down on trans people and gay people and vaccines and climate change activists, etc. They want the government to crack down on these people hard, and they don't want journalists, they don't want the media checking what the government is doing. The whole point of the media, of journalists, is to make sure that the government's not pulling a fast one on the people. And yet the right, who claim they're so anti-big government, they seem to fucking hate journalists. They seem to hate all the journalists whose job it is to investigate the government and make sure no sneaky shit's going on.
So you're the chair.
Hey, Tiffany Star.
What are you doing to keep Ohio safe?
It's not just Representative Lips. Multiple Ohio state lawmakers have been explicitly endorsed by or sided with anti-vaxxers. State Representative Nino Vitale, who in July told his constituents not to get tested for the coronavirus, has openly expressed anti-vaccine views. Here he is sharing unfounded conspiracy theories to another anti-vax group, Ohio Advocates for Medical Freedom.
Bill Gates spends a fortune of his money on coming up with a solution to a medical health crisis that I question whether he created.
Oh God, here's another good example. Advocates for Medical Freedom. It's the same shit as, what was it called? The same shit as Alliance Defending Freedom. You know that YouTube channel we respond to? That, like, conservative dark money think tank that helps students sue their schools if they have any, like, progressive, like, rules at the school? You know, like where the school said you're not allowed to draw like anti-abortion shit on the sidewalk in the middle of campus. And this group of conservative students were like writing up a bunch of like anti-abortion shit with chalk on the school campus. And then the school reprimanded them for it because that was against the rules. You're not allowed to draw on the sidewalk in that area. And then they sued. They got together with the Alliance Defending Freedom, which is a hate group, by the way, and sued their school successfully. Same shit. They'll like name things with like freedom, and like, they always have freedom in the title. Be like freedom fries, freedom phone, free Alliance Defending Freedom, freedom of medical, like, and it's all about being anti-freedom when you look at the actual opinions that these organizations hold.
It's or not, or is in on it. I don't know. I hope no one's that evil. But to that, I would say no thanks, Billy. Okay, no thanks. Everybody should have the choice again to decide. But to force everyone to be vaccinated is offensive to freedom to me. It's completely offensive.
To be clear, the government isn't forcing anyone to take the COVID vaccine. And in Ohio, you can refuse a vaccine for religious, medical, or philosophical reasons. We reached out to Representative Vitale, who said he objected to the term anti-vaccination and said he believes in medical freedom. But that language is a tactic straight out of the anti-vax playbook, says activist Sarah Berry.
The anti-vaccine movement has, over the years, used the term medical freedom as a camouflage against their anti-vax beliefs. They don't want anybody associating the term anti-vaxxer with them. They disown that term. It's a phrase that appeals to a lot of conservative lawmakers' sense of, personal freedom and individual liberty.
Anti-vaxxers are opposed to vaccination for a variety of medical and ideological reasons. They often draw a fabricated link between vaccines and autism. But the CDC is very clear on this. Vaccines have been proven to work and do not cause autism. Back at the hospital, Virginia told us if enough people aren't willing to take the vaccine, we won't be able to create public immunity.
I would absolutely urge everybody to get vaccinated. The sooner we can get the adequate number of people vaccinated, the sooner normal life can come back.
For health workers like Virginia, the movement against vaccination is a personal blow.
It hurts. It hurts my heart that people think it's no big deal, that we who are facing the worst of what COVID has to offer cannot convince them the truth, that they think we are lying.
That's one reason Sarah is on a mission to bring attention to the outsized role anti-vaxxers play in Ohio politics.
The anti-vax movement is more powerful than it's ever been. And I think a lot of people aren't paying attention to it, which is problem number one. If you're not paying attention to it, you're never going to be able to solve it or engage with it in an intelligent way. And they're so powerful, they're winning. He said to me, we're actually gonna introduce a substitute bill. Instead of testifying now, why don't you wait until we voted to substitute the bill, and then you can come back and vote on it.
AJ Plus obtained exclusive video of Health Freedom Ohio's lobbyist admitting they contacted Mr. Burke in an attempt to block Sarah's testimony that day.
He masterfully worked it so that she really couldn't give her testimony. And then he said, that concludes the hearing on the bill, drop the gavel, and the committee's over with, and we're all taken off to go to session. So we kind of worked behind the scenes to make sure that didn't see the light of day.
They have enough power that they've been able to hire a lobbyist, and that lobbyist was influential enough that he was able to make efforts to block my testimony from being heard in committee. In what way is that not anti-vaxxers winning? They get to silence their opponents and have all the political power.
We were interviewing Sarah at the Ohio State House when she ran into Senator Burke.
So
I know what you're talking about. Sir? I've got to go to...
Sarah confronted him about misleading her into not testifying.
I have a hard time believing that, sir.
Well, I don't know anything about what you're speaking to. Nobody stops anyone from testifying.
Why would a lobbyist brag about it then?
I have no idea. You have to talk to him. I've never heard of this before.
I just have a hard time believing that, sir. I'm very disappointed in you. I'm very disappointed in you.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm the citizen, so I'm allowed to be disappointed in you, and you've just absolutely crushed anybody's dreams of speaking to power in this building.
We reached out to Mr. Burke and Health Freedom Ohio for comment. They did not respond to our request. One thing is clear, the lobbying efforts of anti-vaxxers in Ohio are persistent and visible.
The fact that they didn't want me to speak made me feel like, okay, well, that's how scared they are of me. It means that I absolutely should be down there saying what I have to say and speaking truth to power and making sure none of them stop me, because no one else is going to do it.
Sarah says
I feel like I feel like right-wing people try to make this lady seem like Big Red 2 or whatever, but she's absolutely fucking right. This is exactly how you need to respond to shit like this, okay? The only reason any change is ever made in this country is, as Vosh said in his debate with Charlie Kirk, quite well, I would say, because of whiny bitches on the left who push to make this country a better place. And yes, whiny bitches on the left get made fun of all the time, but guess what? They're the only reason we have things like the fucking, what is it, the 40-hour work week, weekends, the general like time that we work every day being 9 to 5 instead of what they do in China or whatever, where it's like you work from 9 to 9, 6 days a week or whatever it was. Heard about that in Philip DeFranco today.
That
Absolutely
in order to combat their influence, people need to become actively pro-vaccine.
If people are like me,
taking out of her bio is not
believe
enough
that
though. She gotta stop
vaccines
working
are
with
safe
them.
and effective, and
That's
that
some
they don't
bullshit.
cause autism, they should start lobbying their legislators. Now we all have to go down and do something about it and start telling them, no, I want the vaccine. I don't want someone at a nursing home to be able to refuse this vaccine because of the safety of my loved one.
Hi, Bruce.
Howdy. Wow.
In mid-January, Bruce received his second dose of the vaccine shot, and his excitement was palpable.
Right arm, Bruce. Right arm.
How does it feel, Bruce?
Free at last. Free at last. Thank God. Free at
But
last.
for now, he has one message for the rest of the country.
America, somehow we have to find a way to get back together again. You have to be hopeful. You have to look at the positive, try not
Based
to
boomer.
focus on negative and how far you have to go.
Based boomer. He's a World War II vet. He looks a little too young for that. No, he's too young to be a World War II vet. He looks like he might be a Vietnam veteran. I don't think you realize it's been like almost 80 years since World War II. Yeah. Well, that's the video, huh? If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe, ring the bell icon if you haven't already so YouTube tells you when I go live or upload a new video. And of course, follow my social media down below on with Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all of that. And of course, join my fan Discord so you can hang out with me, debate me. We do watch parties, I talk to people, I play video games with people in the Discord. So definitely hop in there. And also don't forget, if you want to support me financially and help me raise money for my VR gear that I'm getting so we can do some VR streams, make sure to donate, subscribe, or gift subs my website. We need Oilers. It's how we keep the show going here and how we afford things to make the stream better. Hit the join button or super chat on YouTube to become a channel member, or Prime sub for free with Amazon Prime, or gift subs over on Twitch. And you can also support me directly through Patreon and Streamlabs, of course. Once again, all the links are in the description of the stream. And if you're on my website, you can look up there on the top left bar and you can see all the information there. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a good one.